When the first couple hundred chapters of Berserk came and went without a single balancing factor being introduced to the story, we started to worry if one would ever be introduced. The only entity that the good guys could rely on for astral shenanigans was the Skull Knight, and even he was less help and more harbinger of evil and doom. But we'd figured that things wouldn't stay that way for too long, because otherwise Guts' entire life would have been spent fighting from below without getting anywhere meaningful. If evil spirits and monsters like apostles in the God Hand exist, then surely there has to be some good in the world as well, and as it turns out, that good was buried beneath a church, literally. The Lady of the Depths is the first good-aligned, powerful spirit we've seen in the series that doesn't want to eat Guts and his friends, and in this video, we'll explain everything about her, from her nature to her powers and everything in between. The first nature spirit we ever see! How Shierke summons the Lady of the Depths. Miura did a rather clever thing by explaining why Berserk had such a dearth of good-natured spirits in its first 4 arcs, with the exception of Puck, of course. Evil in the world of Berserk has been running rampant for close to a millennium. All the forces of magic that once dominated this world are now dormant, and the only reason Puck is in the story in the first place is because of a stroke of causality. He wandered out of Elfhelm on the back of a seagull and ended up meeting Judo, Rickert, and eventually Guts. But he was a single drop in an ocean of darkness, and the reason for that became evident once the Millennium Falcon arc kicked off. All the other droplets of goodness had been covered up by hollow sanctuaries. Turns out, most of the churches in the world are built upon ancient shrines where nature spirits dwell for centuries, and one cannot call upon their help if one isn't well versed with magic. So, naturally, Shierke becomes the first character to make us aware of this. Soon after Griffith's incarnation into the physical world, Guts and his party encounter evil astral creatures called trolls near a mountainous settlement called Enoch Village. Normally, such a thing wouldn't be possible because the astral and physical worlds are separate from one another, but Griffith gaining a body of flesh had caused their boundaries to start merging. Trolls were just the beginning, but be that as it may, they needed to be dealt with. The thing about trolls is that they're creatures that move in packs, so when they attack, they do so in endless waves of hairy fur and gnashing teeth with noses that'll give us the creeps for the rest of our lives. And besides, they weren't the only monsters to emerge from the overlap. A Kelpie and an ogre attacked Guts and crew with the trolls while they were trying to defend the citizens of Enoch Village. Shierke managed to erect a bulwark to provide defense against their ethereal bodies, but these creatures could still cause physical damage to the church they were hiding within. Guts and Serpico had engaged the beasts, but they were being overwhelmed because of their lack of magical knowledge. It was up to the little witch that they'd brought along with them to save the day, which is honestly easier said than done. Shierke needed to find an astral spirit whose power was great enough to clear out a mountainside full of evil creatures, and to make matters worse, no spiritual altars were available in her naked sight. To expand her search, she delved into the astral world, and when she went beneath the church's metaphysical structure, she found a stone altar dedicated to an ancient nature spirit. Shierke realized that she could use its immense natural power to help her companions, and so she performed a ritual allowing the spirit to possess her body as a medium. The ritual involved chanting specific words and making specific movements that look a lot like a trance-meditative state. She made a pact with the Lady of the Depths that would see her cleanse the vicinity of all the evil filth that flooded it, and this is where we talk about how powerful the good guys can be for once. The entire river is her domain. Powers and abilities of this astral spirit. The Lady of the Depths, as her name suggests, is a water spirit. She commands the water elementals called the Undines that surge through the rills that border Enoch Village. The power of nature spirits is relative to the part of nature that they're attached to, which means that the stronger their life force, the greater their strength. Chich, for example, is a flower spirit that Guts encountered when he was a teenager. Chich's life was connected to a flower that grew in Guts' prison cell, and though her healing abilities were on par with an elf's, her life force wasn't. Chich used up every leaf on her flower to heal Guts back to normal strength, but in the process, she ended up wiping out her own existence. When the source of the magic is so small and fragile, eliminating it is an easier task. Real power comes with volume in the Berserkverse, and so the larger a natural body's presence is, the stronger it'll be. The Lady of the Depths is a river spirit, so she can control the Undines that compose the entire length of the river near Enoch Village. Using Shierke as her medium, she sent her stream towards the trolls, Kelpie, and ogre terrorizing the village, and impressed even Guts with the scale of her powers. The wave she unleashed was torrential, clearing out all the evil like a cosmic dishwasher of sorts, but her powers could have been controlled in a much more refined way had Shierke not lost control of herself during the possession. She was so angry with the villagers of Enoch for burying the lady's sanctuary beneath their church that she forgot to keep herself tethered to her own psyche. She allowed it to meld with the Lady of the Depths, and because of that, for a brief time, she became water. Spiritual possession is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it gives you power like you couldn't have imagined in your wildest dreams, and on the other, if you aren't careful with maintaining self-control, you'll get pulled into the trance and then you'll have no way to return to normal or break the spell by yourself. This identification becomes especially strong when the magic user's emotions align with the nature of the spirit they're communing with. So, being emotionally stable or having a companion that knows the procedure to snap you out of the trance is crucial when summoning the Lady of the Depths. She can be an immensely powerful ally, but she can also be immensely tricky to control, which brings us to our next topic. Is the Lady of the Depths stronger than Kundalini? So far, we've seen 2 water spirits in Berserk, and both of them have powers that go beyond human understanding. The first, of course, is the Lady of the Depths, but the second is the Kundalini, which was under the control of the Kushan Emperor Ganishka's wizard general Daiba. In truth, the Kundalini's body is nothing more than a tiny white sea snake, a harmless little thing when beheld with its powers not in effect. But give it enough time to work its magic and it turns into an aquatic titanoboa that can laser shipholes in 2. We wish we were joking about that, but no, the Kundalini can spray water at such high pressure levels that it can cut stones with its water gun. The usage of the Kundalini and the Lady of the Depths in battle is entirely different because the latter was found by a novice mage during one of her first real combat missions in life, and the former is the pet of the world's greatest dark magician, Daiba. Daiba has an innate understanding of the astral world and its inner workings that none of the other mages of Berserk seem to possess. He is drawn from the endless tortured well of powers that fuels every apostle and godhand member and created 2 separate army units, plus his very own Behelit. His decades of battle experience using magic trumps Shierke's entire life because she's technically not even a teenager yet. So there is a possibility that Kundalini has more weapons in its arsenal because of its user, but the truth is, it's just vastly more powerful than the Lady. The Lady of the Depths has control over the Undines that populate a river. Kundalini can subdue all Undines within the Bay of Vertanis, a significantly larger body of water than a river. It can summon water spouts that might as well be tornadoes, and when it's in full effect, no other water spirit can enter its domain or challenge it. Even if Daiba's skills were what gave it the precision we see it fighting Guts and Serpico with, the Kundalini's natural scope and area of effect make it a natural superior to the Lady of the Depths. If they were summoned against each other, the Kundalini would beat the Lady every time, but that doesn't mean she can't be useful in other ways. All nature spirits, be they good or evil, technically exist within the astral world. In order to draw their power into the physical world, magicians need to establish a medium link or subdue their original bodies using their sorceress skills, like Daiba did with the Kundalini. However, the astral world itself is nothing more than a manifestation of the human unconscious, so if a magical creature exists in the real world, it can also exist in your dreams. Shierke learned this when she entered the Corridor of Dreams to help heal Casca and discovered that she had the Lady of the Depths in her satchel ready to use as an aid in her path forward. She was crucial in getting her, Farnese, and Dream Casca and Guts to the final fragment of Casca's sanity within her unconscious mind, for she drowned several apostles and demonic manifestations in Casca's mind with her waves. Even without being summoned in the traditional manner, the Lady of the Depths proved her worth as an astral entity, and if Studio Gaga ever decides to revisit her character, we'd be very grateful for the opportunity. Marvelous verdict! And that's it for this video. Let us know what you think about the Lady of the Depths down in the comments. Will we ever see her again? And what other astral spirits will turn up to help Guts & Co. now that we're in the Berserk endgame? We'll see you guys soon, so if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. And as always, don't forget to keep on struggling, strugglers.